Today, we journey straight into the heart of Oak Island, a place where age-old legends collide with cutting-edge discoveries. For more than 200 years, countless explorers have searched, sacrificed, and risked everything to uncover its greatest mystery. But now, things may finally be different. After years of chasing cryptic clues and running into dead ends, a trusted Oak Island insider has dropped a bombshell. A claim that in Season 12, the legendary treasure may have finally been discovered. What did they find? How did they uncover it? And could this truly be the moment that rewrites history as we know it? Before we dive into the details, be sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss any of the twists, turns, and explosive revelations still to come in this unfolding saga. Do you think this insider's claim is the real deal? Or is it just another dead-end theory? Could the treasure actually be closer than we ever imagined? And if the legendary curse is real, what might be the cost of revealing what's hidden? Share your thoughts in the comments below. We want to hear from you. For years, I've walked the grounds of Oak Island, tracing every path and following every echo of the past buried beneath my feet. My obsession has always drawn me back to one place: the Money Pit. That cursed patch of ground where treasure is said to lie in wait, and where generations have tried and failed to reach it. This season, our focus sharpened. I watched as the team from Dumas Contracting drilled deeper into the garden shaft than ever before, cutting through the earth until we reached 90 feet. Just 5 more feet, and we'd hit a tunnel. A tunnel we believe could lead to what we call the Baby Blob, a chamber long rumored to contain part of the legendary treasure. As we dug deeper, the signals intensified. Metal traces, mysterious readings, clues suggesting something massive was buried below. And in that moment, hope surged through me. The kind of hope that keeps you awake at night. Could this be it? But the path was anything but easy. Shifting soil, rising water, constant setbacks, all threatened to halt our progress. But none of us backed down. Marty stood beside me, barely able to hide his excitement. Laird, our archaeologist, examined each layer of earth with a quiet intensity. His face said it all: anticipation and belief. At Borehole H8, Terry and Charles sifted through every fragment that surfaced. Parchment, leather bindings, even a marked object none of us could explain. Each tiny piece hinted at something bigger. Vaults opened centuries ago, and tests on the surrounding water revealed something extraordinary. Traces of precious metals buried deep within the island. I couldn't let go of the thought. Were we now standing above the chapel vault? Had centuries of natural movement shifted it closer than ever? We turned our focus to the ancient stone path, a strange roadway disappearing into the swamp. Gary, Jack, and Billy worked tirelessly, uncovering relics piece by piece. Gary speculated it could have once been a wharf, built for ships that carried secrets we still don't fully understand. With each passing day, the weight of history pressed harder on all of us. Every sound of metal hitting stone, every artifact pulled from the mud, it all brought us closer. Closer to the truth. Closer to solving a riddle that has puzzled the world for more than 2 centuries. When Gary Drayton unearthed a mysterious board, his excitement was electric. His eyes lit up as he brushed away the final layer of soil. The air around us seemed to hum with energy. Standing there, between the ancient stone road and the Money Pit, 2 of the island's most mysterious locations, it felt like history itself was whispering through the trees. We weren't just finding objects. We were peeling back the layers of time. Rick Lagina stepped forward, surveying the scene with razor-sharp focus. "This isn't random," he said, his voice low but firm. "Whoever put this here, they did it with purpose." His words hung in the air. A challenge, a reminder, and a warning all at once. We had to keep looking. We had to keep digging. Because Oak Island still has secrets left to tell. Gary crouched down, his fingers brushing across the surface of the wooden board. Just 2 feet beneath the surface, its thickness and remarkable craftsmanship were immediately apparent. "This isn't ordinary," he muttered, a flicker of excitement in his voice. "Feels like ship decking. High quality too. But one detail stopped us all in our tracks. There were no fasteners, no metal nails, nothing holding it together. Rick raised an eyebrow, part skeptical, part curious. No metal? Not even a nail? Gary shook his head. Nothing. It's clean. The lack of any fastening only deepened the mystery. Who built this? And why bury it here, in the middle of the swamp? Our minds jumped to previous discoveries nearby. Ship planks, wooden artifacts, and strange man-made structures hidden beneath the layers of muck and stone. Could this board be another piece of that puzzle? A few paces away, Marty watched the scene unfold, arms folded, his face reflective. "This swamp never stops surprising us," he said quietly. "Every piece we pull out, it means something. We just don't know what yet." His voice carried a weight, an unspoken recognition that Oak Island still held us firmly in its grip. The swamp, with its murky waters and tangled roots, seemed to guard its secrets fiercely. Yet each discovery, no matter how small, felt like a step closer to unlocking something monumental. Later that afternoon, the energy shifted. Jack Begley came hurrying over from the money pit area, frustration written all over his face. Metal detection was giving them trouble, signals appearing, then vanishing without warning. Somewhere beneath the ground, something metallic, possibly treasure, was hiding, just out of reach, evading every tool we had. Not far from the chaos, archaeologist Jaime Cuba and her team were hard at work around a stone foundation unearthed earlier in the season. It lay deep beneath a circular depression, and curiosity drew Jack and me in her direction. Jaime was kneeling beside the stones, brushing away layers of dirt with precision and care. "This isn't what we expected," she said, a mixture of confusion and curiosity in her voice. "Look at the size of it. This could have served a real function, not just decoration." Her observation opened the door to new possibilities. Over the past year, we'd uncovered artifacts from vastly different periods: a lead barter token from the 14th century, Venetian glass beads from the 1500s, and tools possibly linked to Sir William Phipps. The evidence pointed to wave after wave of activity on the island, each group leaving behind their own layer of mystery. But the burning question remained: which layer held the treasure? Jaime laid out the day's plan. Map the edges of the foundation, document each soil layer, and search for any clue that might tie this structure to the legend of the money pit. Jack's energy was contagious. His determination lifted the mood across the site as we all prepared to dig deeper. Meanwhile, Jeff worked through the soil with painstaking attention to detail. He was looking for anything: a shard of pottery, a rusted nail, anything that could connect this find to Oak Island's centuries-long mystery. Soon, pieces began surfacing. Brick fragments, glass shards, broken ceramics, each small, yet each one another piece of the sprawling puzzle we were slowly putting together. Signs of human presence from long ago. People who had been here, shaping the land for reasons still lost to time. As the day went on, we gathered around a new find: a compacted patch of soil with an unusual texture. Jaime paused, her hand running gently over the surface. "Mortar," she whispered. "Or something like it." The moment was electric. Mortar meant construction. It meant intent. This wasn't just nature. It was human design. Deliberate. Thoughtful. Then Fiona Steele, another archaeologist on site, stepped forward with a fresh discovery. From the same layer of soil, she revealed another artifact, its purpose still unclear, but its presence undeniable. The excitement spread instantly. Standing there, surrounded by half-buried relics and centuries of untold history, it felt like Oak Island was finally ready to share its secrets, one piece at a time. The wind off Mahone Bay swept across the western edge of Lot 5, carrying the salty tang of the sea, as we gathered and looked out over the site, united by mystery, driven by the promise of answers. It was among the scattered boulders and shifting soil that archaeologist Laird Niven rejoined the crew. His arrival couldn't have come at a better time. The recent discoveries called for a seasoned eye. Nearby, Fiona Steele crouched low beside a stone foundation, her gloves stained dark with ash and crushed shale. She tapped the ground gently with her trowel. The sound echoed, hollow, deliberate. "Did you hear that?" she called, her voice laced with excitement. "This isn't just soil. There's something beneath it." We leaned in closer as Jaime Cuba carefully scraped away more layers. Slowly, a gritty gray substance began to emerge. "Mortar," she said softly, "or some kind of crude cement." She paused, frowning thoughtfully. It looked almost identical to the substance we'd uncovered near Borehole H8 back in 2019. Jack Begley nodded in recognition, recalling the earlier finds, bits of parchment, unusual book bindings, shards of ancient concrete scattered across the money pit. "We've seen this before," he said, almost to himself. "It means something." Laird was already thinking ahead. "We'll need Emma to test this," he said with urgency. "Compare it to the samples from the money pit. If it's a match, we might finally start connecting these structures." Jaime carefully passed him a fragment, knowing how important it was to back every theory with evidence. No speculation could stand without proof. As the team cataloged the find, Jack's excitement was barely contained. Tomorrow's dig held promise, more soil to sift through, more clues waiting beneath the surface. We could all feel it. Tomorrow might be the day everything changes. Meanwhile, over at Borehole H8, the drilling pressed on. Marty Lagina and his nephew Alex stood side by side, watching as the rig pushed deeper, past 180 feet, toward the elusive chapel vault. Terry Matheson called out readings as the drill transitioned from soft silt into dense, heavy clay. Tension filled the air. Then came a sound, a sharp, metallic clang. Terry quickly signaled to stop the drill. Reaching carefully into the debris, he pulled out a solid piece of metal. It caught the light, gleaming faintly. "This could be part of the vault," he said, breathless. "Maybe even the plug itself." Marty narrowed his eyes, imagining ancient timbers and stones collapsing, scattering fragments through hidden tunnels. "If the vault shifted," he said, "we need to figure out where it went." Plans changed fast. Rick suggested moving the rig to follow the anomaly, and Marty agreed. New instructions were issued to begin drilling a fresh borehole. Even with all the excitement, we knew we were getting close. We could feel it. By late afternoon, we gathered inside the Dumas trailer, boots still muddy from the field. Rick, Alex, and Scott Barlow stood around the table as Roger Fortin prepared to share the carbon dating results from a wooden fragment unearthed deep beneath the garden shaft. Alex connected Craig Tester by phone. His voice was calm but tense. "This is it," Rick said quietly. "Let's see how far back this story really goes." The room was silent. Only the hum of equipment and the rustling of papers could be heard as Roger finalized the report. Rick stood at the head of the table, hands resting on the weathered wood, eyes locked on the speakerphone. This was the moment they'd been waiting for. Before the call began, Rick took a moment to commend the crew, especially the Dumas team, for their tireless work under grueling conditions. "You've poured everything into this," he said. "Whatever we learn today, it's because of that dedication." Then Craig's voice came through the line, clear and steady. "The results are in," he said. "The sample dates between 1631 and 1684. For a second, no one spoke. Then, a collective exhale swept through the room. Jeff leaned forward, eyes wide in disbelief. Jack's face lit up with curiosity, and even Rick, usually so composed, allowed a flicker of surprise to break across his face. This wasn't just another piece of old wood. It was something far more significant, a key, a link to a time that stretched back well before the first recorded explorers ever set foot on Oak Island. Craig continued explaining, walking the team through the percentages and layers of analysis that confirmed the carbon dating results. The data left little room for doubt. The structure they'd uncovered was older than the earliest documented digs at the money pit by more than 100 years. "Could this be part of the original design?" Alex asked, his voice a blend of awe and hesitation. "It might be," Craig replied. "If that's the case, We're not just looking at tunnels left by searchers. We could be dealing with something much older, and possibly far more elaborate. At the back of the room, Marty stood silently, arms crossed, absorbing the gravity of what had just been said. "That changes everything," he murmured. The conversation quickly shifted to what should happen next. Rick was adamant. They needed to deepen the garden shaft and push further into the tunnel system. Roger urged caution, stressing the importance of careful excavation and thorough documentation. Scott, aware of the risks, pushed for speed. Time wasn't on their side. Every day increased the threat of flooding or collapse. The team reached a consensus. They had to move forward. But even as one breakthrough took shape, new questions were already surfacing elsewhere on the island. Over on Lot 5, another investigation was unfolding. Rick, Alex, Jack, and Scott met with archaeologist Laird Niven and materials expert Emma Culligan to examine a strange, concrete-like substance uncovered near a buried stone foundation. Emma ran the sample through X-ray diffraction analysis, and what she found stunned them all. The material's composition matched the same substance discovered at the money pit, more than 100 feet away. "This isn't random," Emma said, her voice calm but filled with awe. "This was placed here deliberately." The realization sent a wave of shock through the group. Lot 5, once thought to be separate and unrelated, might actually be connected to the money pit. Why would ancient builders go to such lengths to conceal their construction? What were they hiding, and why so carefully? Scott ran a hand through his hair, visibly shaken. "If this is connected," he said, "then we're talking about something on a whole new scale, something we've never imagined." The conversation took a deeper turn when Jack brought up the theory of William Phipps, the 17th century privateer rumored to have hidden enormous treasure. Could the evidence they were uncovering finally tie Oak Island to Phipps's fabled fortune? Rick listened carefully, intrigued but cautious. Every answer seemed to open the door to new questions. As the sun dipped low over Mahone Bay, the team stood at the shoreline in silence. The water lapped gently at the rocks as dusk settled in. 229 years of searching. Centuries of legends, speculation, and sacrifice. And now, it felt like they were closer than ever. But Oak Island doesn't give up its secrets easily. And with whispers of an ancient curse still hanging in the air, they knew the next discovery could come at a cost. What else lies buried beneath this island? Are they on the edge of rewriting history? Or uncovering something that was meant to stay hidden? Stay with us as the next chapter in Oak Island's greatest mystery unfolds. The discoveries kept coming, each one more compelling than the last. While investigating what appeared to be an old stone road, the team made an extraordinary find. A massive iron chain and hook, corroded and worn, yet unmistakably ancient. Experts believe the relics date back to the 1500s, triggering an audacious theory. Could this have been part of a system used to unload cargo from ships directly onto Oak Island? Nearby, buried in the thick, marshy soil, a wooden barrel stave surfaced, strikingly similar to others found in the same area 3 years earlier. Together, the finds painted a vivid picture. This stretch of land may once have been a hidden port, a secret entryway where cargo or treasure first made landfall. The team wasted no time. Plans were drawn to resume digging in the area, determined to peel back the layers of history the island had guarded for so long. But the swamp held more than just clues to trade. As Gary Drayton, Marty Lagina, and Billy Gerhardt surveyed the site, something else caught their eye. A mysterious formation, a stone road cutting through the mire. It was another lead, another piece of the puzzle, and perhaps another step closer to finally solving Oak Island's greatest mystery. Could it be the end of a long-forgotten path? A retaining wall? Or was it something even more intentional? Something crafted with purpose centuries ago? Nearby wooden artifacts added fuel to the fire, sparking new theories. Gary's eyes lit up. He knew right away, this wasn't just random debris. "We need specialists," he insisted, convinced that what they were seeing was far more significant than it first appeared. Even Marty, who had long been skeptical about the swamp's relevance, began to see things differently. For the first time, he sensed real potential, a faint glimmer of a long-awaited breakthrough. But the swamp was just one piece of the puzzle. Earlier in the season, deep beneath the money pit, the team made a stunning discovery, a hidden, offset chamber not far from the infamous garden shaft. This chamber, located just 30 feet southwest of a mysterious cavity known as Aladdin's Cave, long suspected to be a treasure vault, completely shifted their understanding of Oak Island's underground maze. And just as the excitement began to build, disaster struck. A violent storm slammed into the island, flooding the garden shaft and threatening to shut the entire operation down. Speculation quickly spread. Was it a natural collapse? Or had they triggered one of the island's legendary flood tunnels, designed centuries ago to protect whatever lies below? Ironically, the flood might have helped them more than it hurt. As water levels surged, the Dumas team traced the flow and made a surprising find. A previously unknown chamber, separate from the garden shaft and sitting 65 feet below ground. The implications were staggering. Could there be multiple offset chambers buried beneath centuries of soil and stone, each one part of a complex system built to hide the island's ultimate secret? Despite the setbacks, the team's determination never wavered. If anything, the flooding and the discoveries surrounding Aladdin's Cave only strengthened their resolve. They believed now more than ever. They were close to something historic. But to truly grasp the scale of what they were facing, the team had to look back at the past. In Season 8, they had uncovered an ancient stone wharf, estimated to be more than 300 years old. At first, it seemed to lead into the swamp, but then, to their astonishment, it curved toward the money pit. That single clue gave powerful support to Fred Nolan's controversial theory that the swamp was not natural at all, but rather an artificial construction built to conceal something far greater. And the discoveries didn't stop there. As digging continued, they unearthed a massive stone structure dating all the way back to around 1200 AD, evidence of human activity centuries before the money pit was even documented. But what came next was perhaps the most astonishing find yet. Near the southern edge of the swamp, they uncovered what appeared to be the railing of an ancient wooden ship. Radiocarbon testing dated it between 660 and 770 AD. It became the oldest known artifact ever recovered from Oak Island. Meanwhile, over on Lot 15, Gary Drayton and Jack Begley unearthed a stunning collection of items, some possibly more than 1,300 years old. And as their excavation deepened, water sampling from boreholes near the money pit revealed unmistakable traces of silver buried far below the surface. Scientific evidence was finally catching up to the legend. Something remarkable, possibly treasure, was still waiting in the depths. Each new find, iron chains, barrel staves, ancient ship timbers, only added more weight to the mystery. The Fellowship of the Dig could feel it. They were closing in. Still, Oak Island wasn't about to surrender its secrets easily. On Lot 21, Gary Drayton and veteran digger Dan Henske made another intriguing discovery. Two slender iron objects, both etched with strange markings. When blacksmithing expert Carmen Lega examined them, he delivered a stunning theory. They could be swaggers, ancient tunneling tools that might even trace back to the Knights Templar. The possibility electrified the team. Could they be uncovering evidence of a centuries-old mission, guided by secrecy, involving some of history's most legendary figures? With every find, every layer peeled back, Oak Island whispered a little more of its story. The question now was, how much more was left to discover? If the theory proved true, it would suggest that secretive excavation efforts were taking place on Oak Island, long before the first official discovery of the money pit was ever recorded. Meanwhile, over on Lot 25, near the former home of Samuel Ball, a freed slave who became a wealthy landowner, Alex Lagina uncovered a surprising artifact, a British naval officer's button dating back to the early 1800s. The discovery raised intriguing questions. What was a naval officer doing on Oak Island? Was he there to guard something? Or was he searching for it himself? Even the island's shoreline held its own mysteries. While investigating the ancient stone wharf, Rick Lagina came across fragments of a wooden cargo barrel dating back to the 15th century, possibly linked to early transatlantic voyages. And in the Money Pit area, the team recovered the heel of a leather boot from Borehole H8. When tested, it dated to 1492, the very same year Columbus set sail across the Atlantic. Could this boot have belonged to a figure equally important, yet hidden, within the obscure pages of Oak Island's history? Further evidence of wealth and luxury emerged from the swamp, where a gold-colored knob was uncovered. Experts believe it may have once decorated an ornate jewelry chest, suggesting the presence of something truly valuable. In Season 9, Rick Lagina and historian Doug Crowell discovered an ancient trade weight near the same wharf. This small tool, once used to measure precious metals, hinted that Oak Island might have been a center for commerce long before its legends began to circulate. By 2021, technology was beginning to unlock even more secrets. Using ground-penetrating radar, Alex Lagina and his cousin David Fonetti scanned the eastern edge of the stone roadway. The data revealed hidden anomalies stretching outward from the swamp, potential underground structures or voids. But before they could investigate further, winter arrived, freezing the ground and putting the search on hold once again. Elsewhere, on Lot 4, another mystery was brewing. Gary Drayton's metal detector led him to a strange piece of metal at a site ominously labeled the Hole Under the Hatch, a location noted on Zena Holpen's controversial Templar map. Dr. Krista Brosseau later examined the artifact and suggested it could be from a Portuguese cannon, adding weight to the theory that explorers from Portugal's Azores may have reached Oak Island centuries before the British ever arrived. Back at the Money Pit, discoveries continued to astound. Treasure hunter Michael John and surveyor Steve Guptill retrieved a small stone cannonball from more than 100 feet underground. Soon after, Rick Lagina and Gary Drayton uncovered another. Both were potentially tied to early Portuguese voyages. Wood samples pulled from Borehole CD6 dated back to the 15th century, indicating the possible existence of tunnels centuries older than previously thought. And a newly discovered void in Borehole AB13 hinted at yet another hidden chamber, separate from the original Money Pit, but possibly connected to its legend. In Borehole D2, a small metal fragment containing traces of gold reignited hope. Maybe the treasure wasn't just folklore. Maybe it was still there, waiting to be found. In 2020, a wooden object retrieved from the triangle-shaped swamp was dated to 1632, while on Lot 4, a woodworking tool of English origin was discovered, dating between 1620 and 1740. Off Lot 25, the remains of a massive wharf stirred new curiosity about Samuel Ball. Had he stumbled upon something during his time on the island? Something he chose to keep secret? By 2022, the pace of discovery was accelerating. A sloped section of paving stones emerged, around 500 years old, connecting the paved swamp area directly to the stone road that led toward the Money Pit. It was as if someone had deliberately built a path to guide seekers into the island's core. That same year, Gary Drayton and Rick Lagina unearthed a half coin of Roman origin on Lot 5, dated to approximately 300 BC. It became the oldest European artifact ever found on Oak Island. Then, from a circular depression on Lot 5, identical in diameter to the Money Pit, came shards of pottery from the early 1700s and other curious relics, including a scallop-edged lead barter token. Laser testing connected this token to the 14th century French lid cross discovered at Smith's Cove back in 2017, strongly pointing to a connection with the Knights Templar. But perhaps the most astonishing find of all was yet to come. An intentionally buried rectangular foundation, surrounded by artifacts from the 1730s, pipe stems, pottery, and iron spikes. Its construction date aligned perfectly with key turning points in Oak Island's early history. The construction of the garden shaft sparked new theories. Some now believe a single group may have engineered both the shaft and nearby structures, possibly to hide something of immense value deep within Oak Island. Archaeometallurgist Emma Culligan examined another barter token discovered by Gary Drayton and Jack Begley. The token contained cenacle bronze, a type of alloy that had fallen out of use after the 1500s. Its age, over 5 centuries old, added yet another fascinating piece to Oak Island's complex and mysterious history. But the mystery isn't just in the artifacts. Strange legends and ominous prophecies continue to cast their shadow over the island. For generations, a chilling belief has endured that 7 men must die before the treasure will finally be revealed. As of the show's 11th season, 6 lives have already been lost in pursuit of the truth. Even Marty Lagina acknowledged that recent undisclosed incidents on the island have only deepened the unsettling aura surrounding the hunt. In the season's intense 2-hour premiere, the team focused their efforts on the circular land formation on Lot 5. What they found was astounding. Not just ancient coins, but a latch that could potentially be connected to a historical figure long suspected of being involved with the Oak Island treasure. As Rick Lagina, checking in from Italy, took in the news, the team prepared for another descent into the garden shaft. Gold traces had been detected in the surrounding water, hinting that something extraordinary might be close at hand. But with every new breakthrough, danger follows close behind. Flood tunnels, unstable structures, and the ever-present threat of the island's rumored curse loom over every dig. Could the next chapter finally bring the legendary treasure into the light? Or will Oak Island take one more life before its secrets are revealed?